Welcome back. We got a Jeep Wrangler Sport here today that had the end of its bumper pushed in. Actually, both sides of this thing got tweaked. So we have a new plastic bumper cover to install. My friend got this, I think online. The dealer wanted a ridiculous amount of money for it, and he found a little bit less expensive version online. But there's a core charge on this. They want the damaged one back. Why? I have no clue. Well, let's get this swapped out, see what's involved. I don't want to take the whole bumper off. I just want to take the cover off, but we may have to resort to pulling the whole thing off to swap out a lot of the other parts. Let's see what's going on with this. We've got all these clips along the back here that need to come out. Got a little pry tool. You could use a screwdriver if you don't have one. And there are two more that are facing straight down over here. Get those out and then we'll pull this panel out of the way. Okay, those are out, and there's also two 7mm bolts that go in from the fender extension into here. So this is loose now. Altogether there are 8 clips that hold this in place. We're just going to push it back, let it sit out of our way, and then work on the fender fillers here. They have to come off the bumper. All right, we got to get the clips on the bottom splash shield here off, and there is a nut here that's, I believe, 8mm, and should be another one on the other side over here. So let's get those out. One of these clips will be hidden in a little hole over here, so you got to kind of reach up from behind and pry that one out. Okay, with everything out, this should just drop out of the way. Now we could work on these fender extensions, because we need to get to access to the fog lamps behind over here, I believe. They're all covered up by this. You got the one screw we already removed, and there should be another 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 altogether. Take them off. Okay, that's off. This is like a sheet metal type screw. The other ones have more of a machine thread on them, and they're really long. That'll be the rest of the screws are on it. So we got one side done. Yeah, one more to do. The right side fender extension has a wire with a clip that's pushed into it that goes into this hole right here. So you have to pry that off before you can get it out. We got this one off, but we have some hardware that got ripped out of the old bumper that we have to remove first. But also we need to deal with our fog lights that are screwed in to the back of the plastic bumper. The cover is going to come off. The bumper bar is going to stay on the car. We'll have to unscrew these. Actually, see if I'm going to leave them on. I'll just change them on the bench. We'll just unplug these first, not have to deal with it underneath the car. We're going to unplug the fog lights, leave them there. Now we're going to take out the 4 bolts that hold the metal bumper bar to the plastic cover over here. All right, you could see them underneath over here. They're 13mm. Get those out, and the bumper bar, it will be loose. We have to contend with the wiring over here that's actually attached to it, so we're going to carefully pull it down and see how the wire is attached. Okay, the cover is all loose, but because of the hooks, you cannot get it off. We'll have to go underneath and loosen up the 8 bolts that are 18mm that hold the entire bumper bar assembly on. We're going to loosen them up as far as we can without taking it off. Maybe we'll be able to squeak it past. Otherwise, the whole thing is going to have to come off. Thank you, Jeep engineers, for making things more difficult than they need to be. There are the nuts on the inside of the frame. And then there's on the outside too. We're going to loosen them up as far as we can. Maybe we'll pull the bottom nuts off, leave the top ones on. Maybe that'll give us enough space to squeak this past. We're loosening up all the bumper bolts still. We have the other side out. We're going to unplug this because all the wiring goes onto the plastic part of the bumper. This way, once we get all 4 bolts out on this side, the whole bumper will come off. So let's get these undone and pull off the bumper. All right, all the bolts are out and we should be able to get this to come off. Now, this off. The tow hooks are kind of jammed in over here. To get them out. I guess I never would have been able to take it off. Now we got to pull the wiring out here. Put the fog lights in. I pulled that one out because I thought it was going to help me a little bit, but it did not. The fog lights are a T20 Torx, so you're going to have to cut these little tabs that locate them, but the new bumper doesn't have holes, obviously, so you have to put some pressure in there to get the screws to bite in. We'll tighten those up. We got to take this one out still and swap it in. And then all the wiring harness is held on with little clips, so you have to unclip these and put them back into the little space they provide in here. From one to the other. I pull a harness out of one and plug it into the next one. Connect the dots. Dot. Well, you didn't have to plug it underneath the car. You can plug this back in now. All right, that was a lot of work just to get this off. Now we got to repeat it and put it back on. All right, we're going to drop our tow hooks back through. Let them sit right there. And you have these big extensions that stick off that slide into them, so bumper cover would have never came off. Like I said, thank you, Jeep engineers, for making something more difficult than it needs to be. And now you could see how flush this is here. This one is not, because when the bumper took a shot, actually bent it back. So we're gonna have to try to straighten this out a little bit too to get that a little bit closer. So back out with you. All right, we straightened out the bar. We got this gap fitting better once we tighten up these screws. And now I'm gonna assemble everything right here on the ground before it goes in one piece. Well, I hope you've been paying attention. I assembled the entire thing on the floor here so we could put it back up in one piece. So in other words, I should have just removed the whole thing in the very beginning. But if you want to take off your fender extensions or service your fog lights, you still need to do this. You could do this on the car just by pulling these off. So do me a favor. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Send a comment. Call me an idiot. And maybe subscribe if you want to. All right, one piece. Slip it on. There we go. All right, we got it all bolted up. And now we have all our little push clips to put back in. So if you're changing the bumper cover, just pull the whole thing off. And thank you for watching. Well, you want to look in the file cabinet? Here, look.